I just finished watching the 7th season of my favorite Netflix show, Black Mirror. I usually watch it with somebody because this is something that is very communal, or at least, I don't know, is more than one person communal. You have to watch this series with somebody because some sort of conversation comes off after every single episode. And I watched this by myself, so thankfully I have you guys to vent on me thoughts on this latest season of Black Mirror. But in case you didn't know, it is a show on Netflix created by Charlie Brooker that is basically a contemporary reworking of the Twilight Zone with stories that tap into the collective unease about the modern world. What I love about this show is not only the discussions and the conversations that come after each episode, because this is an anthology, so you need to know much about anything. You could just pop it on randomly to anybody and they'll enjoy it, or they'll feel some type of way about the scenarios and the situations and the conflicts that the show puts these characters in. But what I'm loving more and more after each season now is that they're using their same technology, they're using their same world. This is one cohesive world. You might see something from the first season creep back around as a throwaway. For example, like the last episode of this season had, a shot of the news, and in the bottom ticker they're referring to a lot of stuff that just happened in this past season. So with now 7 seasons under their belt, they're doing a great job in building one cohesive world. They are using more and more technology that they mentioned in past episodes. The thing that I really love about this show, it's unpredictability. The way my brain works when I'm watching anything, and unfortunately I'm cursed with this, I have to try to figure out what the hell's going on. If the show or the movie is really, really entertaining, I'm trying to figure out how it's going to end. That's just the way my brain works. And I don't have a very good track record with this show. I have a very good track record with everything else. This show plays me. This show's got my ass every single time. And what is brilliant about this show now with its 7th season, there's a twist coming. So there's like a 2 parts of like being shook within watching the show. The first one is the twist reveal. You're like, oh, okay, this is what we're dealing with. This is the conflict. This is what these characters are going to be positioned as. Then there's a twist as how they deal to that. And then ultimately the conclusion of that twist. So it's actually like a 3-part revelation within each episode. And it usually ends in being something terribly fucked up. And if we're going off of average, I think this season specifically might be the best one yet, because the collection of episodes might be their best ones. They didn't start out putting out a ton of episodes. It was like the season numbers are like 3, 4, and then 5. And then lately they've been steadily dropping 6 episodes per season, which is not a lot. And the length of each episode varies from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. The last one being almost damn a movie. But I think the collection of these episodes were just so good together that it makes me feel like this might have been the best season of Black Mirror yet. Of course, if you're a Black Mirror fan, and if you're not, let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is the best Black season? Do you think this is the best Black Mirror season yet? If not, which one do you think it is? Why and why not? Let me know down in the comments. Now, because this is an anthology and there are 6 episodes, I'm going to just give you my thoughts on each episode, but I'm not going to give them to you in the order that they are in the show. I'm going to give them to you in the order that I like them. Again, I like them all, but the one I liked the least, coming in at number 6, was Eulogy. This one stars Paul Giamatti and Patsy Farron. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name correctly. And it's about this isolated man who gets some information that somebody in his past has passed away. So he gets sent a kit, or they're going to use this man's memories to try to make an immersive memorial video using old photographs, where they're going to use this technology to go into the photograph, and using Paul Giamatti's memory of this person, they're going to conjure up digitally whatever he can remember to fuel this memorial. Of course, this is somebody in this guy's past who was a lover. It ended badly, but slowly through the episode we start to see that the way things that Paul Giamatti's character was perceiving things might have not been the correct way. So it is a love story. This one is the slowest one out of the bunch. But again, what I really love about this show is how they use technology. The things that they come up with, the sci-fi elements that they come up with feel possible. Yes, they're teleporting into things and they're like shutting their brains off and basically going to VR, but for some reason, the way it's written and the way they use it, it feels like we're not too far away from that, and that could be possible. So yeah, this episode is probably the most chill out of all of them, but it was still entertaining and it had me hooked the whole time. At the 5th slot, I'm gonna go with Bet Noir. This one stars Sienna Kelly, and she's this confectionery whiz kid who like can do a lot of cool stuff in the kitchen using some kind of paste, like some kind of gluten-free bullshit. Doesn't really matter. But the point is, she's like the hotshot in her office in her company that creates chocolates. And a former schoolmate of hers shows up to the company, gets a job, but she seems off to just our main protagonist, and everybody else loves her. And they kind of use a lot of Mandela effects in this episode, which I thought was really cool. So I thought they were going to use that in a different way, but it was more just to make their main protagonist go crazy. And it's fun to slowly see her unravel and go crazy, but the ending on this one I felt to be pretty predictable, but it was still a fun, entertaining episode nonetheless. Coming in the 4th spot for me, I have Hotel Revery. This one stars Issa Rae and Emma Corrin. Issa Rae is a Hollywood A-lister who's sick of being typecast and wants something new. In comes this new high-tech company who are trying to make an immersive version of remakes where they literally put this actress into a whole another dimension using the old school actors. So for Issa Rae, the other actors from back in the day are like stuck in the simulation. They're just computers. They're just computerly generated. They believe what happens in the movie is real life. And of course, in great Black Mirror fashion, something goes awry, and now she's kind of stuck in there, and to be able to get out, she has to play out the story. Again, more than anything, the premise is what I really enjoyed. Being stuck in the movie has almost like a video game feel to it. Like, it has happens in a couple times in a couple episodes where there's the real world and then there's like a virtual world, and stuff happens in the virtual world that I wasn't really expecting. You're on pins and needles the whole time whether or not what you think is going to happen, and what I thought was going to happen did not happen. But the whole trying to improvise the movie because she misses a couple lines, and Aquafina's in this episode too, so Aquafina's like feeding her the lines and telling her what to do. She's like the tech person outside in the real world. It's a very interesting, very cool tech, very cool sci-fi premise that I really enjoyed. Moving in at number 3, I have Plaything. This one stars Peter Capaldi, and it features a returning Will Poulter. More than any other season, this season borrows or uses a lot of things, characters, technology from past episodes, or in this case, the movie Bandersnatch. So Will Poulter returns as Colin Rittman, the game developer of the game Bandersnatch. So you really have to know a little bit about what happened in Bandicooter because you'll get the sense of the character better. He's in there just for a second, but watching Bandicooter gets you realize how much of a sick freak he actually is. He's not just your regular game developer guy. But the story revolves around more the Peter Capaldi character. We go back from the 1990s when he was a young video game reviewer to now where he lets himself get caught up by the cops. And we find out that he's actually a murder suspect. And we go back and forth on explaining his game reviewer days where he was reviewing the Will Poulter character's video game that has these cute little characters that are artificial light forms that just continue to evolve. And so this guy just gets deeper and deeper into that, and it kind of gave me like Neopets and Tamagotchi vibes. But what the story leads to is pretty crazy. The reason why I like this so much is probably because of its ending. It's kind of open-ended, but not really. Like, there's a huge impact to the world kind of as to what happens, and for it to just kind of end like that, I was kind of like, what did what I think happen, or what's going on here? But yeah, other than that, your typical like serial killer guy that goes back and forth, kind of giving you his early days origin story kinda, and will lead to whatever he did and what he ends up doing at the end. Moving on to this, my second favorite one. This one's also, I guess you can call it a sequel, USS Calister Into Infinity. This one stars Kristen Milotti, Jason Simpson, Billy Magnuson, and a returning Jesse Plemons. This is more of a direct sequel to the first episode that is just entitled USS Calister. I always want to say McAllister. Shoutouts to Home Alone. So you really do need to know a little bit more about that episode to even appreciate this episode. They try and actually, I guess, do a pretty good job in giving you the cliff notes as the episode goes along, but I think I would have preferred a typical Netflix recap of the episode, because around 15 minutes I felt the itch to go back and skim through the first episode, because I don't remember, man. Like, I first saw that 8 years ago one time, and it's like, okay, there's a lot of details that help if you remember. So what happens in the first episode, Jesse Plemons is once again a game developer, and what he's doing is he's developing this video game of virtual reality where you can put yourself in the game. So what he's doing though is getting DNA and using this illegal apparatus to put human copies of real people inside the game. And the copies are trying to get out, and they enlist the Kristen Milotti character to help them get them out. The second episode is the aftermath of that. There's a journalist coming in asking to see what the hell is going on. Kristen Milotti character is in there. We're going back and forth from real world to virtual world, because now that game is actually developed and the copies are wreaking havoc within the game, and it's becoming a problem in the real world and in the fake world, because whatever they're doing is for survival. If not, they're gonna die. This one is the longest episode, clocking in at an hour and a half, so it's basically a movie. It has you entertained the whole time because they just keep introducing conflicts and ways to resolve them. Because it's an anthology series, I wasn't a huge fan of them putting out sequels to episodes, because again, like, I have to remember about something I saw one time. I'm not very down for it. Again, I'm repeating myself, but they did a good job in like giving you the cliff notes as to what the hell happened. But I would much rather them keep them to single episodes. I really enjoy where it's not really a sequel, but they used technology from earlier episodes, like the whole eye thing, and there's like the little temple, whatever the that everybody puts on that, like everybody has that, and everybody goes like into the worlds. So that technology, you know, going from episode to episode is fantastic. But story, it's tough, man, because it takes these fools forever to put out episodes, and you want me to remember something that happened 8 years ago? Nah. So keep it new, keep it fresh. But then in the case of like Plaything, I want to know what happened there, so I'm a little conflicted. But yeah, this is a fun episode. They usually start with a banger every season and end with a banger, and I felt like they really much end with a banger. And they also very much started with the banger, because my favorite episode this season was the very first episode, entitled Common People. This one stars Chris O'Dowd, Rashida Jones, and Tracy Ellis Ross. It's about this couple who are just very run-of-the-mill, very nice and humble people. This is a nice way of me saying poor. He's a welder, she's a teacher, so they don't make a ton of money. They're celebrating their anniversary. They're just very chill, run-of-the-mill people. She has a medical emergency where there's a tumor in her brain, and she's basically done. He's got to say goodbye, but there's only one choice to practically save her. In comes representative of Rivermind, played by Tracy Ellis Ross, where again the technology is crazy, and I love this whole sci-fi element to it. But they can basically copy the part of the brain that has the tumor, cut out the tumor, copy and paste it. But that piece of their brain is uploaded in the internet or whatever, so she needs to be connected to work properly, right? There's a range that she can't get out of, and she has to sleep for a little bit longer. There's just a lot of complications with the whole Rivermind thing. But more than anything, this episode is commentary on streaming services, which I loved. And the way they used the whole subscription service and the streaming thing here was just rage-inducing, right? Tracy Ellis Ross seems like a lovely lady. Everybody loves her, right? Her character could die. She's terrible. I hated her so much. I just wanted to strangle her, right? Because everything that happens to this poor couple, of course, they're the heroes of the story, so you're rooting for them the whole time. And just stuff keeps popping up, and it's just so frustrating. And then the way that she delivers the bad news is just like, bro, really? And the way it ends is kind of, I was like, whoa, I was not expecting that either. And it's very up, right? But yeah, that was by far my favorite episode. The commentary, and every single episode has amazing acting, amazing performances. I like that they're not all mega stars, you know, like the cooking one. I didn't know anybody from anywhere from that episode, but then you'll have a big episode, you know, that features Jesse Plemons or Kristen Milotti, who's a huge star now after Penguin, but she's been there. She was in the original first episode. She's been around forever, but now we saw her in Penguin, and everybody notices her all of a sudden. But I like that it's not all just like A-lister. They take a bunch of kind of people, and everybody works. Nobody feels like they're overacting, and their performances are amazing, and it's, I feel like, due to the script. You can see these same people acting in shitty roles because the role and the writing of that is shit. The roles and the writing of this show is amazing, therefore we get amazing performances. I really enjoyed this season. I think, to reiterate, I think this might be the best season yet. But of course, those were my thoughts. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Do you think this is the best season, the worst season? Which one is your best, favorite, most exciting episode? Any and all Black Mirror thoughts, let me know down in the comments down below. Let's chat. While down there, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever you do. Rapido. Speedy Gonzalez, babe.